Quick disclaimer, this is an AI voice, which is not going to be perfect. There is a transcript in the description as well as subtitles for you to read along with. Political parties have many functions and features and have many sources of funding. Parties range from being established and highly likely to be elected to playing a minor role in politics. A political party is a group of people that seeks political power. Political parties have many functions, which includes provide a method of political participation, recruit individuals for political roles, represent a section of society, provide a government when they are elected, and form policies of what they intend to do. Political parties have many features. One feature of political parties is that they have the aim to gain power by winning political office. Another feature of political parties is that its members share a common ideology, but the party has a broad focus on many different areas. As well as this, political parties also have an organizational structure to ensure they can operate efficiently. Political parties are currently funded through membership subscriptions, fundraising events, donations, loans, self-financing, and grants. There are many debates on the consequences of the current funding system. An argument that the current funding system is beneficial is that it allows multiple parties to sustain themselves and support smaller parties in developing their policies. As well as this, it encourages the parties to engage with the public to bring in more memberships and donations. In addition, the Electoral Commission's role in monitoring and reporting donations promotes transparency, which allows the public to scrutinize the sources of party funding. However, an argument that the current funding system is not beneficial is that the dominance of the main parties means the smaller parties cannot campaign as heavily and therefore has little chance of being elected to form government. As well as this, the Electoral Commission only monitors and reports donations over the value of £500, so there is potential for hidden and unaccountable influence if an individual or company were to donate multiple times. In addition, relying on donations may bring about an undemocratic source of influence that individuals or companies may have over political parties. There are three established political parties in the UK: the Conservative Party, the Labour Party, and the Liberal Democratic Party. The Conservative Party was originally the Tory party in the late 17th century. This party emerged as a political faction that supported the monarchy and opposed parliamentary power. The modern Conservative Party began to form in the early 19th century with the growth of industrialization and the international market. During this development, the Tory party was rebranded to the Conservative Party, which came with an outlined vision of pragmatic conservatism. This also brought the development of one nation conservatism, which is a more paternalistic approach to conservatism. In the early 20th century, Margaret Thatcher influenced the Conservative Party's modern ideological direction with the support of free market policies and reduced state intervention. This led to the development of new right conservatism with the support of a more authoritarian approach to law and order, as well as the support of a free market approach to the economy. The Conservative Party's historical development has shaped its policies on the economy, law and order, welfare, and foreign affairs. Due to Margaret Thatcher's influence in the 1980s, the Conservative Party's economic policy favours the deregulation and privatisation of markets, with reduced state intervention. The Conservative Party's law and order policy focuses on maintaining social stability with strong policing and strict sentencing. The Conservative Party has had a historical emphasis on individualism and self-reliance, which has led to their welfare policy encouraging personal responsibility, with minimal welfare being provided. Thatcher's strong emphasis on national sovereignty led to the Conservative Party's foreign affairs policy encouraging a strong defence policy with active global engagement, as shown with their approach to Brexit and international trade agreements. The Labour Party was founded in the early 20th century, initially emerging from the trade union movement and socialist political groups. This party was established to represent the working class and advocate for workers' rights and social equality. The modern Labour Party began to form in the post-World War II era with the introduction of the welfare state and nationalisation of key industries. During this development, the Labour Party solidified its vision of social democracy, which emphasised the redistribution of wealth and comprehensive state and welfare services. This period also brought the development of New Labour in the late 20th century, which is a more moderate approach to traditional Labour principles. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, figures like Tony Blair influenced the Labour Party's modern ideological direction, promoting a third-way approach that combined free market economics with social justice. This led to the development of policies that supported a mixed economy with both public and private sector roles and a focus on social inclusion. The Labour Party's historical development has shaped its policies on the economy, law and order, welfare, and foreign affairs. Due to the influence of New Labour in the 1990s, the Labour Party's economic policy favours a balanced approach that includes regulation and public investment with an emphasis on reducing inequality. The Labour Party's law and order policy focuses on addressing the root causes of crime through social programmes, while still supporting effective policing and community safety. The Labour Party has had a historical emphasis on social welfare, which has led to their welfare policy advocating for robust support systems, including healthcare, education, and unemployment benefits, to ensure social safety nets. New Labour's focus on international cooperation has shaped the Labour Party's foreign affairs policy to encourage humanitarian interventions and strong alliances with international organisations like the United Nations and NATO. The classical liberal ideas were formed in the late 18th century with the view that freedom can only be achieved with the state playing a minimal role. The Liberal Democratic Party was originally formed in 1988 from a merger between the Liberal Party and the Social Democratic Party. The Liberal Party had roots going back to the 19th century, emerging from the Whigs, a political faction that supported parliamentary reform and civil liberties. The modern Liberal Democratic Party began to form in the late 20th century, with the merger aiming to create a centrist political force that combined social liberalism with social democracy. During this development, the Lib Dems outlined a vision of progressive politics, advocating for individual rights, social justice, and democratic reforms. In the early 21st century, leaders like Nick Clegg influenced the Liberal Democrats' modern liberalism with the support of state intervention in the market and emphasis on civil liberties. This led to the development of a balanced approach to economic and social policies, promoting both free markets and robust social safety nets. The Liberal Democratic Party's historical development has shaped its policies on the economy, law and order, welfare, and foreign affairs. Due to the influence of modern liberalism, the Lib Dems' economic policy favours a mixed economy that supports free markets while ensuring strong regulatory frameworks and social justice. The Lib Dems' law and order policy focuses on protecting civil liberties and human rights, promoting rehabilitation over punishment methods. The party has had a historical emphasis on social justice and equality, which has led to their welfare policy advocating for comprehensive support systems that provide universal healthcare, education, and social security. The Lib Dems' commitment to internationalism and cooperation has shaped their foreign affairs policy to encourage strong alliances with international organizations like the European Union and the United Nations, and a focus on global human rights and environmental sustainability. Emerging and minor parties are important for many reasons. One reason is that they are able to influence the major parties and push them to address specific issues and policies. As well as this, minor parties are able to represent diverse and minority views that may not be represented by the major parties. In addition, minor parties can provide representation for certain regions that may have unique concerns. Another reason minor parties are important is because it encourages people to participate in politics and vote in an election, even if they feel their views are not represented by the major parties. The UK Independence Party heavily supports the UK leaving the European Union with the aim to achieve sovereignty. UKIP also has policies that are focused on reducing immigration and securing United Kingdom's borders. As well as this, UKIP promotes British business and wants to reduce the United Kingdom's dependence on international trade agreements. The Scottish National Party's primary goal is to achieve Scotland's independence from the UK. They have policies that are aimed at improving social welfare, which includes free healthcare, education, and social services. The SNP are focused on growing Scotland's economy and has a strong opposition to nuclear weapons. Plaid Cymru's primary goal is to achieve Wales' independence from the UK. Plaid Cymru has policies that are aimed at reducing poverty and inequality by improving public services and social welfare. Plaid Cymru also emphasises environmental sustainability and renewable energy. The Green Party has a strong focus on combating climate change, reducing carbon emissions, and promoting renewable energy sources. The Green Party also advocates social equality with higher minimum wages, wealth redistribution, and improved public services. They also support a democratic reform to achieve more proportional representation. The Democratic Unionist Party has a strong commitment to maintaining Northern Ireland's status as part of the UK. They also have strong support for Northern Ireland leaving the European Union with the UK, while also opposing any barriers between the borders of Northern Ireland and Great Britain. The DUP promotes free market principles, lower taxes, and support for local businesses to stimulate economic growth. They also support strong law enforcement and measures to combat terrorism and organised crime. Sinn Féin has the main goal of uniting Ireland whilst promoting cross-border cooperation. Sinn Féin also emphasises reducing inequality through progressive taxation, increasing social welfare, and improving public services. They are also committed to investing in and improving the healthcare system and education. Reform UK has the main goals of ensuring the UK leaves the European Union. They also aim to reform the economy through low taxes and deregulation. Reform UK promotes democratic reform, such as changes to the electoral system and reducing the size of the government. They also have a focus on public services, with an emphasis on healthcare and law enforcement. The UK has developed a multi-party system which makes decisions more representative. There are also many reasons for the success and failure of the parties in this system. The multi-party system in the UK evolved from its two-party dominance by the Conservative and Labour parties. Over the 20th century, the Liberal Party's influence began to decrease but was eventually reformed into the Liberal Democrats. The post-war period saw the rise of regional parties, such as the Scottish National Party and Plaid Cymru, reflecting the need for regional representation, as well as the rise of the Green Party and the UK Independence Party in the late 20th and early 21st centuries brought in new aspects to UK politics, with increased concerns over environmental issues and European Union membership, which were not a main focus of the main political parties. With these parties being elected into Parliament, the government is required to take on board the concerns of these parties and implement policies that agree with their ideas. The development of the multi-party system has also led to the increased influence of both left-wing and right-wing parties, with left-wing parties desiring change and right-wing parties support little to no change in the current systems. There are many implications of a multi-party system for government. One implication is that there is an increased likelihood of having to form a coalition government where two parties work together to form a majority, which leads to more negotiations and compromise. This is shown with the Conservative and Liberal Democratic coalition government formed in 2010. Another implication is that the legislative process is less efficient, as parties with different values have a say on what is in the policy, which means there may be more revisions of the policy before it gets passed. This was shown when the Conservative government had a small majority between 2010 and 2015 and had difficulties passing legislation, particularly regarding Brexit. Another implication is that there is increased representation, as other parties can question the decisions of the government, which means that more diverse and minority viewpoints are involved in the decisions. This is shown with the inclusion of the Green Party and the Scottish National Party. There are many factors that affect the success of political parties, including leadership, valence, unity, funding, and the media. Leadership influences the success of political parties, as the leader will show the vision and direction of the party. As well as this, charismatic and trustworthy leaders are able to increase and maintain voter and member support. In addition, leaders who can make good decisions regarding their campaigns and policies will be able to improve the party's success. An example of when a party has succeeded due to its leadership was when Tony Blair was the leader of the Labour Party. This is because Blair's new Labour rebranding provided a vision for the party and a direction for their policies. Blair's charismatic leadership allowed him to resonate with members of the electorate with a broad range of views. This led to Labour succeeding in the 1997 general election, with 418 seats of the 650 seats available. However, an example of when a party has failed due to its leadership is when Theresa May was the leader of the Conservative Party. This is because May's decision-making, particularly with Brexit negotiations, lacked clarity and led to confusion. As well as this, May struggled to maintain unity in the Conservative Party over Brexit, which led to multiple parliamentary defeats and internal disagreement and dissatisfaction. This led to the Conservative Party losing their majority in the 2017 general election and to May resigning in 2019. Valence refers to the public's perception of a party rather than their policies. Valence influences the success of political parties, as a high valence will ensure trust and credibility among voters. As well as this, the party will be perceived as being more competent at managing the economy and public services, so they will have higher voter confidence. An example of when a party has succeeded due to its failings was when Tony Blair was the leader of the Labour Party. This is because Blair's leadership modernised the party's image and presented Labour as competent and in touch with current issues. As well as this, Blair was perceived as a credible and effective leader, which contributed to Labour's victory in the 1997 general election. However, an example of when a party has failed due to its failings was when John Major was the leader of the Conservative Party. This is because Major's government had many scandals and internal divisions, which led to poor public perception of the Conservative Party, which was backed by the government's mismanagement of economic issues. This led to a loss in the 1997 general election, where the Conservatives only won 178 seats of the 650 available seats. Unity refers to how much the members of a political party agree on their policies, strategies, and leadership. Unity influences the success of political parties, as a unified party will have clear and consistent messaging which is more appealing to the electorate, as they know what they are voting for. As well as this, a unified party will have more efficient campaigns and will be able to implement their policies more smoothly. An example of when a party has succeeded due to its unity was when Margaret Thatcher was the leader of the Conservative Party. This is because the members of the Conservative Party all agreed on Thatcher's policies and there was no confusion as to the direction of the party, which increased voter confidence. This led to the repeated successes of the Conservative Party, winning the general elections of 1979, 1983 and 1987. However, an example of when a party has failed due to its unity was when Jeremy Corbyn was the leader of the Labour Party. This is because the members of the party were divided over their policies on Brexit, which led to mixed messages and a lack of a clear strategy. This led to a major loss in the 2019 general election, where the Labour Party won 202 seats. The funding a political party receives influences the success of political parties, as they will have the funds to run an effective campaign, which will make voters more informed about their policies and may make voters more likely to vote for that party. This also allows parties to develop their policies more effectively and appeal to voters. An example of when a party has succeeded due to its funding is when the Conservative Party won the general election in 2015. This is because they had significant financial resources that allowed the Conservatives to run a strong and organised campaign, which helped effectively convey their policies. However, an example of when a party has failed due to its funding is when the Liberal Democratic Party failed to win a significant number of seats in the 2017 general election. This is because the Liberal Democrats faced significant financial constraints that limited their ability to compete with the campaigns of larger parties. This led to them only winning 12 seats out of the 650 seats available. The media can influence the success of a political party, as it provides a platform for parties to reach a broad audience. As well as this, the media can influence the way the public perceives the party depending on how positively they report the party. As well as this, the media can highlight certain issues which influences what the voters consider to be important, so the parties will have to address these issues in order to bring in more votes. An example of when a party has succeeded due to the media was when Tony Blair was the leader of the Labour Party. This is because the media provided positive coverage of his rebrand as New Labour, which helped Blair reach a wider audience. This led to Labour winning 418 seats of the 650 seats available in the 1997 general election. However, an example of when a party has failed due to the media is when Ed Miliband was the leader of the Labour Party. This is because the media's coverage on Ed Miliband was negative, which undermined the voters' confidence in Miliband's leadership capabilities and personal image. This led to the Labour Party losing 26 seats in the 2015 general election. The media has a positive influence on political parties, as it informs the public on the essential information about the parties. As well as this, the media facilitates public debate, which enhances democracy. In addition, the investigations and fact-checking that the media carries out allows the media to hold political parties accountable for their actions and promises. However, the media also has a negative influence on political parties, as media sources may favor certain parties more than others, so there may be bias in their reports. As well as this, the media tends to focus on controversial topics, which can distract from more important political discussions. In addition, smaller parties are often covered less than the larger parties, which reduces their visibility and their chances in elections. Thank you for watching this video on political parties. I'll see you in the next lesson.